Hello. Hello, I'm Delusion Dispeller, and I'm here to share more with you on Chapter 2 of Stop Walking on Eggshells. And I will not tell you the author again, I will post it down below so that we don't have any copyright issues. We're on Chapter 2. We're going to be talking, first of all, about manipulation of people with borderline personality disorder and why they do that. So, why does a borderline manipulate other people? They're not vicious, malicious people deep down inside. They're trying to cope with inner pain that they don't know any other way how to cope with. They tend to threaten. They will use the silent treatment. They will go into fits of rage. They are afraid. And they put you in a fearful position of them. They intimidate you. They'll also put you in no-win situations where you feel like you're spinning your wheels, going in circles, and no answers are getting brought forth. The non-BP, non-borderline personality person, feels manipulated, controlled, and punished by the borderline personality who will threaten to end the relationship with them. They will also threaten to report the non-borderline or to commit suicide because of them. This is because the non-borderline personality would not do what the borderline wants them to. Borderlines do these things because they have fear, loneliness, desperation, and hopelessness. They want to be comforted, reassured, and they want to feel better. Some borderlines are very aware that their behaviors seem manipulative to other people. Some feel ashamed and sorry for their actions after they do them. In a borderline personality disordered person's shoes, it's kind of like, to describe it, is like a child that's out in a shopping mall, gets separated from the parent. They're calling for the parent, mommy, mommy, daddy, daddy. They're terrified, calling out. They want to get back to their parent. They want the comfort of the familiarity, and they're desperate to reconnect with that lost parent. Well, for a borderline, it's the same thing. And those faces in the crowd of the passersby, maybe even some people that stop by and try to comfort them and say, hey, let me help you, find your mommy and your daddy and whatever, that offers temporary reassurance to the borderline. But when those people say, come on, little girl, I'll take you to this, whatever you call that thing, the lost and found place, whatever, so your mommy can come and get you. When that person needs to go, then that little child feels all alone again and desperately wants to connect again and wants to find that original source of love. Kind of the same thing. The borderline personality person will grasp and cling, blow up your phone, and they'll do everything to try to prevent you from leaving, just like that lost little child trying to reconnect with their parent. This I didn't know till today. There are a couple different forms of functioning of a borderline personality. There's a lower functioning borderline and there is a higher functioning borderline. One is called the conventional. The lower functioning is considered a conventional borderline personality, and the other one, the higher functioning, is considered invisible borderline personality. With the conventional lower function borderline personality disorder person, they are doing what's called acting in, which means they are self-harming, committing suicide, or offering suicide attempts or threats. They end up in the hospital quite a bit from eating disorders, substance abuse disorders, and suicide attempts, as we said. A lot of them are disabled and cannot work. They're on disability. They go from crisis to crisis. There is also a comorbid disorder with this type of lower functioning borderline. It could be bipolar, it could be the eating disorder, could be the crossover disorder with this. Higher functioning borderline people, the invisible borderlines, usually act kind of normal. They only show those borderline traits to family and close friends and people they're super comfortable with. So therefore, when people say, oh, this person did this or that, other people don't believe them because they don't see it. They don't show it to everybody. They can also act out towards those family and friends and trusted loved ones. How do they act out? They'll blame. They'll become critical. They will falsely accuse them. They will become very physically aggressive and violent with them. They may verbally abuse them. They don't usually look vulnerable on the outside to the outside onlooker. But behind closed doors, it's a different story. They operate in denial. Usually this operates as, you're to blame, not me. It's your fault, not mine. And they genuinely believe that you are the one to blame. They don't ask for help till their relationship is threatened to end. Once you say, I've had enough, I'm done with you, and you mean it, that's when they will start saying, I need help. Couples therapy does not usually work with these types of borderlines because they will manipulate during the therapy session to do everything they can to prove their partner is wrong and they are right and they are the victim. This type of borderline personality is well able to invalidate other people, and um, they will, like I said earlier, the people will have a hard time believing if you go to them and say, hey, this person's treating me like this. They'll have a hard time believing it because these people are very convincing and very good at what they do. The comorbid disorder with this type of personality, this high functioning borderline, is substance abuse and sometimes narcissistic personality disorder or other personality disorders. So that gives you a little bit more background and information about the two types of borderline personality disorder that I also just learned about today. I didn't realize there were different forms, but I think most of the ones that we're seeing online probably are the lower functioning borderlines, the ones that are just out there in your face and you can tell they have the disorder. I don't think it's hidden. And I don't know that I would say people on here that have BPD have found people that they consider super trustworthy, that they can bear themselves to, although it could be the fact that it is a hidden format. They can hide behind names and text and things like that. So that may be why they're better able to come out and be themselves. But we don't see a whole lot of suicide attempts and things like that. What we do see is a lot of manipulation, a lot of lying, a lot of saying they're going to go away forever and coming back like in a few minutes or coming back the same day, that kind of stuff. And that's probably more, I would say, the lower functioning borderlines, which is why a lot of the people that you've probably met online, the borderlines that you've met online, don't have jobs. They're not working because they also have comorbid disorders that prevent them from working, anxiety disorders and things like that. So, anyways, but basically, I think what this book tries to portray is that borderline people are people. They still have feelings, and their main feeling is they want friendship. They just don't know how to maintain the friendship because they're so defensive all the time. And they're so self protective that they suspect people are out to get them when they're really not. So they try to protect themselves against an invisible foe, and that foe is you. I hope this sheds some more light on borderline personality disorder for now. Stay tuned for tomorrow, hopefully tomorrow, when I teach you more about borderline with chapter 3. Thanks for watching. Have a blessed day.